수 없겠지만 운동선수로서 이제 전 치폴레를 되게 좋아해가지고 그래가지고 치폴레 많이 먹고 또 살 안 빠지게 관리 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
Yeah, I heard from Hassan Kim that he lose almost 20 pounds that off season, and I'm preparing to like work out or eat more, and I love Chipotle, so it'll help too.
Yeah, I like Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yeah, very good food.
Well, happy Friday, everybody. Hello, welcome to Marty Time TV. I am Marty Caswell. That is Darren Smith. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And yes, that was Sungwoon Song, who hit his first home run yesterday and then exited the game later with that pesky oblique injury. Hopefully he's recovering with some double protein and a nice bowl of a nice Chipotle. Darren, how are you?
I'm good. Back on Marty Time TV. Also,
Yes.
We're going to convert this into a podcast at the Section 1904 podcast. That way we get a little bit of audio, we get a little bit of video for people like me, Marty, who don't like turning on YouTube when I'm going for my evening walk or my evening bike ride. I just want to listen to a podcast. Can we make that available?
We can make that available. As a matter of fact, if I could do a redo, if we were not doing this show live right now, Darren, I would have redone the open and I would have said, welcome to Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast, because yes, you know, we have some news happening. We have some things going on. We'll get into what we're doing at Friar Territory on the Foul Territory Network shortly, but we have stuff going on here as well on Marty Time TV on the Section 1904 network. How does that sound to you, Darren?
Okay. I mean, we're workshopping it.
Well,
we can do it live here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're live. This is, my second live hit of the day. Having gotten up to Ben and Woods at 7:30 this morning. So
Is that so?
yeah, I mean, people probably have this view of me that I literally just sit here like this background, and this is all I do all day is I just sit here and speak into this microphone, and this is my life now post radio, that I sit here in my home in Imperial Beach and I just accept links from different people and I click on these links, and sometimes I'm talking to you and sometimes I'm talking to them and sometimes I'm talking on Friar Territory, and other times I've been talking to John Jeanette. Like, people probably just think this is all I do now. I'm just anchored to this chair, accepting any sort of requests so that I can appear on different shows. So, and guess what? You're probably right. It's pretty close to accurate on that one.
Okay, good deal. All right, listen, just before, I mean, I have a list of topics here, right here. Who wants to be the Padres leadoff hitter? That's been a burning topic for Padres fans, of course, on our other show on on Friar Territory. What was the burning topic today on your last appearance?
What did we talk about? We talked, they always have me on to talk SDFC, which I appreciate.
Cool.
So we talked a little bit about what was happening this weekend and what is happening over the next 8-9 days with a trip to Kansas City, then back home against Toluca, and then next Saturday against Dallas, and then in Toluca. So we did that a little bit. We talked a lot about Walker Buehler, and we also talked about Jurickson Profar.
Oh, gosh.
We talked a little bit about, the whole Profar situation, and hey, like those like fond memories that we had of Jurickson Profar
Gone.
Not for me, they haven't. They're not gone at all. Like I mean, it still happened. I don't feel any different about the energy and the joy and everything that came with Jurickson Profar as a Padre. I don't personally. Maybe you do. I don't. But it's sad. Like, it stinks. I hate the situation that he's in. As a fan of his, but I don't look back and think, none of that really mattered or it was any less enjoyable. So not really my position on it all, but we talked a lot about that. Walker Buehler, Walker Buehler and his elbow, and is he now the inside track for the 5th spot? So, there was some a little bit of baseball, no real burning topic though, but we just kicked it around a little bit with some baseball and a little bit of SDFC.
Did you get up at 2:00 in the morning to watch the best hitter in baseball batting leadoff in a mercy game for Japan, Samurai Japan?
I did not. This is actually just past 10 o'clock. This is actually news to me. So really? I did not. No.
You didn't? You did not? No. Yeah, 2:00. Shohei Ohtani, I think 3 hits, batting leadoff, 5 RBIs. Batting leadoff, a grand slam.
I see what you're trying to do.
Yes, I am going to go there because
you're trying to wind me up on this again. I know I sound like a mad person here. No. I feel like I'm going crazy having to read some of this and listen to some of this stuff on social media or through Kevin Acey. So like, I know what you're trying to do here, Caswell.
Okay, I am going to go ahead and wind you up on that. But I do, before we get there, I do want to play what Craig Stammen said a couple of days ago, Darren, when he was asked about whether or not he had watched his leadoff, his Tatis, who doesn't have a set position in the lineup for the Padres, batting leadoff for the DR as well as Manny Machado. This is Craig Stammen talking about Manny Machado and Tatis and the performance in the World Baseball Classic.
We had a meeting last night. We were watching some of the game in between what we were talking about. I know Manny was very excited playing in the Dominican Republic for the first time. I know Toddy was very excited also. It just shows like what two of our best players are capable of doing when they're amped up and excited about what's going on. And it was a sight for sore eyes for all of us watching those guys perform in that way and being at their best. It was cool to see, and that atmosphere in the Dominican was amazing. Having been there for the first time this winter, it was just kind of cool to see like that atmosphere be brought to the Team Dominican Republic, and in that stadium, just the raucous atmosphere. It was pretty cool to see. It makes you feel like, there should be some more baseball games in the Dominican Republic.
Any surprise for you when the lineup came out and you saw where Fernando was?
No, I mean, I didn't talk to Albert about where he was going to put it, but obviously saw he was leading off, which was cool. Like, Toddy's a great leadoff hitter and could be our leadoff hitter at some point too. Sure, he loves it. He's playing for a great team. They got a great lineup, and he gets to be the first one that the pitcher sees.
Interesting.
Really, which part of that? Which part's interesting?
I didn't realize that Manny had never played in the Dominican Republic before.
Really?
Did
That's
you?
the part. Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. That's the part you find interesting. I just thought about him batting leadoff and not having a conversation with Pujols about where he's gonna bat.
Again, I know what you're trying to do here.
No.
I know that I'm coming across like a person who is losing his mind over this.
Yes.
And that's not like me at all. So I feel like I need to clear some of this up. I do not feel like Fernando Tatis Jr. absolutely has to bat leadoff for the Padres, but I am 100% against him batting cleanup for the Padres. I am 100% against that. If you want to convince me that you can roll a lineup out there where he bats first, second, or third, I'd say, yeah, okay, fine. But when I hear some of the stuff that Craig Stammen says, Marty,
yes,
let me read one to you here because I actually saved this in my phone. This is what Craig Stammen said. I know you have the audio somewhere. He said, this is what he's looking for in a leadoff hitter. I'm just looking for a good first at bat. Bring some energy and let that starting pitcher know he's in for a long day. The leadoff hitter can set the tone in a way. It sets the tone for the rest of the lineup. Maybe score a run that first inning. When I just say that completely in a vacuum, what name pops into your mind?
Oh, Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just
I mean, Xander Bogaerts, nobody thinks that when they think, like, you hear that.
No.
You go, oh, yeah, okay. That sounds like you're describing something. Now, maybe you could say that applies to Jackson Merrill. I'd buy that.
Sure.
Doesn't seem to be the case. And again, now we start going down in the lefty-righty stuff. But I think the thing that does actually wind me up is people twisting themselves into knots to try to convince you that Fernando Tatis Jr. batting cleanup is somehow a good idea, right? Again,
Who are you talking about?
Well, people on social media that I've gone back and forth with, for starters. But Kevin Acey tries to make the case the other day where, Kevin rattles off a bunch of numbers here. And he says, what did he say? Tatis, batted with the bases empty 399 times, most on the team. 399 times Fernando Tatis Jr. came to the plate with the bases empty. And you're like, no shit. He's a leadoff hitter. Like literally when you lead off a game, that is 150 plus times that you are batting with the bases empty. And like when you say that and it requires a little bit of context. Like you just brought up Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani, Marty, batted with the bases empty 417 times. More than Fernando Tatis Jr. Francisco Lindor did it more than Fernando Tatis Jr. So like I don't know what point we're trying to make there when we're talking about how many at-bats he's had with the bases empty. Like that is what a leadoff hitter does. Like it is the definition of it is that you are going to be batting at least once with the bases empty. And then like I don't know that Kevin realizes what point he's trying to make because he's like, well, he's batting leadoff at the Dominican Republic because that's a real lineup. What? Like what are we saying about the Padres lineup? That we're now just saying that 7, 8, 9 is his total. And in Kevin's words, like he said, it was a wasteland last year. Okay. Yeah, there were problems. Like 7, 8, 9 was pretty much a black hole for the first half of the season. But isn't that why they went out and got O'Hearn? Isn't that why they went out and got Laureano? Isn't that why they went out and got Fermin? So
this is a better lineup right now. The lineup the Padres are going to have during in like opening day already has a lot more depth than last year because Nick number one, Nick Castellanos is going to make this team. He's going to make this team. Freddie Fermin is already better than the platoon situation of Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz and whatever else the Padres were doing last season. It's
so it's not this wasteland that he is describing. And by the way, again, just for context, because Kevin, drops this, he gives you the numbers for the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Again, and like out of context, it just piques my curiosity. I'm like, okay, well, it sounds bad. Like 7, 8, 9. So says Kevin Acey's research was like 16th in all of baseball. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty bad. This sounds like you're starting to make a case that I could. But again, like I went back and I looked at the Dodgers. The Dodgers had the same number, 7, 8, 9. Like who batted 7, 8, 9 for the Dodgers? Like, I mean, again, I don't want to bore everybody with numbers here, but
okay, go ahead.
Like Padres on base percentage from the 7 hitter was 309 last year. Dodgers 297. 8 hitter 310 for the Padres, 291 for the Dodgers. Padres 9 hitter 268, terrible. 294 for the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani hit 39 solo home runs last year. 39. And like, he won an MVP award. And we've been over this on Friar Territory where we talked about the top 15 players in offensive WAR, all batted first, second, or third for their respective teams. None of them batted cleanup, except for Cal Raleigh, who did it 22 times. And that's it. And then they're like, hey, we better be smart about this and get this guy out of the cleanup spot. We're wasting these at-bats. Get your best players the most at-bats possible. Again, it doesn't have to be leadoff, but like we're twisting ourselves in the knots to make a case that is simply just about a player who I don't think really wants to do it.
Right.
And like that's probably the thing that we're not talking about is that he does not really want to do this, and it's not supported by a bunch of numbers because it's easy to torpedo some of these numbers and say that they don't really matter when you're comparing him to some of the other leadoff hitters in the game. And that's my whole point here. Like he could bat second, he could bat third, but batting cleanup for me is just not smart.
Like I want to know, like if we were talking to Craig Stammen, or if you were there talking to Craig Stammen, like can you remove that from the equation? Like I understand if Craig Stammen is saying, the manager, I would like to move him out of that leadoff spot. I would like him to maybe in a situation where he could, drive in some more runs, do some more damage, right? Be the RBI guy. Maybe it'll adjust his approach as to how he finds his way for every at bat. But I just wonder, like, how much of that is because Tatis said, you know what, that's not where I want to be. I want to be this guy. I want to be.
It sounds like that's what it is, right? I mean, it sort of sounds like even by Fernando's admission last year, that he's, he wears his emotions, right? Like he talked about this openly last summer when people had commented on body language, right? What's the term that always gets used? He's moping a little bit. He's like, yeah, like I do, of course. Like, like when I don't feel like it's going well, I'm not good at hiding that sort of stuff, right?
Right.
And like one of the most interesting things is that Fernando Tatis Jr. didn't think he had a good year. We know that because he booked a trip to go someplace else during the All-Star game. He's like, what? I'm an All-Star. This is
nice resort stuff.
Right. And like we're just talking about him changing his approach and all that stuff when in fact he really did have a good year last year. And I wish somebody would just tell him that. Like you did really good at this. Like you're really good. Like are there things that you can improve on? Sure. Like, do you want to hit home runs? Yes. But like there's nothing about that spot in the lineup, Marty, that prevents you from hitting home runs. How do I know that? Because I see Shohei Ohtani doing it. Now you say, well, Shohei Ohtani's one of one. Fine.
Right.
But not that long ago, we were putting Fernando Tatis Jr. in this kind of category. And again, Francisco Lindor hit 25 solo home runs last year, and he lead it off for the New York Mets. So like, it does not prevent you from doing the things that people want to claim that it prevents you from doing. And that's my point. If you want to move them, fine. But like, don't bullshit us about all these other excuses about why you're doing it. When in fact, it's just kind of like, hey, it's like, I don't know that do I want to be leading off when it's not going well? And like, I'm the first person out there. If my mood if it's being noticed by other people, like, I think that's probably more of what it is than any of these garbage statistics people want to throw in your face.
Right. If of all the players who could set the tone for the Padres, right? And again, to bring back Stammen's words, a guy who can create damage, a guy who can send an immediate message, who can send fear to the opposing pitcher, to the opposing team. There's like 2 guys in this roster that can do it. One's Fernando Tatis, and the other one is Jackson Merrill. So it'll be interesting. I just hope that what he's doing right now with that deep Dominican lineup, I just hope it's a reminder of like how good he can be and how dangerous he can be. And by the way, just, going back to Stammen's comments in the WBC with Manny and Fernando Tatis, I know it's only been, it's 2 games for them, right? When's the last time you can remember Fernando playing with this much joy? I hope that team goes super deep and he remembers again just how much he loves it and just how much fun he can have in this game.
Right. And like you said, it's a sight for sore eyes, right? That's the clip you just played from Craig Stammen. It was a sight for sore eyes. And I'm sure if a lot of people are like me, you're going, well, why aren't we getting that? Like, what is the issue here? Like it's not clearly about cleanup because, or leadoff because he's batting leadoff and we're seeing that sort of stuff. Like what is it that's not happening here? That's not clicking for him, that we're not seeing that on a regular basis, that more people are spending time saying, hey, listen, we're getting a version of him that maybe we don't like all that much. We like the other guy. We like the, everything. Well, why isn't that happening? And I think that's what they're trying to figure out. And I think that's a big part of this. Again, I don't think it's about the numbers because like I said, I could rattle off all these numbers all day, and I could read them and sound like a crazy person, show after show as I'm talking about this, but it's about like, and again, like the other point is like using the term like it's a real lineup, talking about the Dominican Republic, like no, like what are we saying then about the Padres, that this is just like a garbage lineup that you're not going to be able to have any success in because like that's why you went out there and you added to it, and I think that was maybe not the point that you were trying to make, like that he's doing it because it's a real lineup. Like you're not going to come across that lineup in Major League Baseball. I'm sorry, 7, 8, 9 hitters in baseball. You're not going to have Perdomo and J-Rod and some of these other dudes.
Right.
So like that shouldn't mean those are the only circumstances under which you can bat leadoff. Like they're trying to make it better. And Fernando said that, like, yeah, like the lineup's better. So like I don't know why that seems to indicate then that you have to make this change. It just, again, it continues to confuse me, Marty. And I know I sort of sit here just rambling on like a madman.
It's okay. I don't want you to be confused going into the weekend. And by the way, when you're talking about the depth of lineups, right? The Dodgers lineup's one of the best in baseball, right? The Samurai Japan, not quite that same depth. Ohtani is batting leadoff. Same strike.
And again, 7-8-9 for the Dodgers was exactly the same as 7-8-9 for the Padres last year. It really didn't matter. Like, statistically, it really wasn't that different. So, you say 16th and you're like, oh, wow, that sounds bad. But like by how many percentage points? Like 1 or 2? Like not much. Didn't seem like it was all that much. So, but again, like get him more at bats. I don't want to be giving away a ton of at bats here. For Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't think that's a recipe for great. Now I know what's going to happen. They'll probably bat him clean up and he'll hit a grand slam on opening day. And my message will be like, suck it, loser.
Okay. I'll clip this. I'll clip this so you can have it for that moment later on.
That's the way these things usually work. But again, like, I just think we're like overthinking this for like, it just is very confusing to me.
Before we move on to whatever the next topic is, Darren, have you yet voiced your displeasure to Kevin Acee about what are you trying to prove with this point? Of course, he batted that many times with bases empty. He's a leadoff hitter by default. Every leadoff hitter has that stat.
I don't know. I just feel like sometimes like this is stenography more than it is reporting. But I don't know what else to say about it at this point. I don't know. I feel like this is a something that they have created here, and it's very bizarre.
Well, it's made it an interesting storyline. But the funny part though is there's this raging debate continuing, even though those players are not even with the team right now.
Right.
So, okay.
Right.
And he says,
they hit 75 home runs yesterday, and everybody's like, "But did you see Tatis in the WBC? Like, what's going on over there?"
But I did see Sungmoon Song, and he hit his first home run of the spring, and then he left with that pesky oblique injury that sidelined him for a while before camp. So that's the good and the bad. A little bit concerning because, as you know, Darren, obliques are tricky, but it's fun to watch.
Well, apparently everybody homered yesterday, Marty, because the wind was blowing out in Peoria. So if you got that ball up in the air, that sucker took a ride.
I did not watch any highlights, real highlights of the game or of Walker Buehler, but encouraging though that he looked decent, and the important thing that he was pain free. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah,
but it sounds
I dig it. I'm open minded to that. I mean, to Walker Buehler. Again, a guy with a pretty high floor coming in from what he's done, who he's been, and being around some some new minds and some new eyes and ears. Like I'm pretty open-minded about that. Even if it's just a temporary thing, right? Even if it's not a guy that you think you're going to count on from opening day all the way up until the end of September, he's a guy that might be able to get you to a point where somebody else could fill in that role if need be at some stage of the season. So yeah, I mean, I dig it.
Good. Hey, before we go on, I do want to mention, for those of you who have subscribed to this channel, and thank you, we do appreciate it here on Marty Time TV. If you notice my hat, it is a Foul Territory hat. I joined Foul Territory, Friar Territory, on the Foul Territory Network. I want to say back at the end of November with Kyle Glazer, formerly of Baseball America, who has now gone on to do bigger and better things, great things. Good for Kyle. Miss him. Hopefully he'll be a guest, though, on the show. But my new partner is that guy right there, Darren Smith. We would love it if you could support the great work they do at Friar Territory and Foul Territory by subscribing to our channel. You can find us on YouTube, and we have great gear. They actually have some great gear. I'm displaying my hat. Darren, you don't have a hat. We'll have to get you a hat. These are great.
But I can go to friarterritoryshop.com, though, and I can check that out for myself. Yes, our most recent show, Marty, was my first interaction with Heath Bell in probably 13 years.
Heater.
Same
dude.
Yeah, I always got the sense Heath didn't really love me. Like, we didn't have a great connection from player to member of the media.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
That's fine.
It happens.
It does.
It happens.
Yeah, I always remember an exchange I had with him where he heard something I think I said on the radio about when he took over the closer's role. Mm. A role, by the way, he was very successful in.
Yes, he was.
I think he led the National League in saves at least once, maybe twice, 3-time All-Star. I said something about, we're not going to know anything about Heath Bell until he blows a save or whatever.
Right.
He's like, are you rooting for that? I was like, no, I'm not rooting for it. But
right.
Sometimes you learn a lot about somebody via failure.
How they handle defeat and how quickly they bounce back, or just the mental, because you have to be mentally strong. You have to shake it off, right?
He's like, well, what if I just saved them all? I was like, good luck with that, man. Like, I don't know that I envision it, but if you can, you can. And by the way, did he not actually set the record or tie the record for most consecutive saves? So he might have actually started his career not blowing any of them. But I also would tell you, like, and not to tell tales out of school, but like, that also was Kevin Towers who said that to me. He's like, yeah, we won't know shit about this guy until he blows a save. And I kind of just repeated that on the radio, and he's like, I don't know. Why would you root for that sort of stuff? I'm like, I'm not rooting for it, Heath. I think it will be interesting to see how it is when you run across a rough patch there.
Yep. We'll
learn a lot about you. I think that's how, like we learn a lot about all these people, every single athlete. When they face a little bit of adversity, that's part of your success, is how you handle your adversity. But
success.
I always remember that exchange. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna click, but we'll see how it goes on Friar Territory.
Yeah, I thought he had. By the way, speaking of Friar Territory, I thought he had some interesting commentary on where he'd want. He likes Jackson Merrill batting leadoff, and then he wants Manny in front of Fernando. So
yeah, that's the key. Like, could you can you convince Manny to bat second?
Yes.
Because that I think would like, we're all operating like assuming that Manny's immovable at 3. Because then you can play around a little bit. You don't get trapped with a bunch of righties or whatever. But we'll see what happens. He's batting 5th for the Dominican Republic. What a lineup, huh? Tatis, Marte, Soto, Vlad, Manny, J-Rod, Wells, Perdomo. Man, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
By the way, I don't. What is Fubi? Because I think the Netherlands, they're playing the team that Jerks and Profar just ditched. Right, yeah. He gets suspended. Netherlands. Literally on the field with his teammates, working out. The news comes down, bails. Doesn't talk to his manager Andrew Jones. Doesn't talk to any of his teammates. One of which is Xander Bogaerts. Just leaves that team. But did you catch? I haven't seen the lineup. Number one? Where is Fubi? And where is Bogaerts batting the lineup?
I do not have an answer on that one.
You don't have Fubi?
You are giving me way too much credit for
I'm sorry.
Paying attention to the Netherlands lineup. Sorry.
I was watching Cuba and Panama before you and I jumped on here. And then
how's that going?
Yeah. I think Cuba was up 3-0.
Okay.
So that's my breakdown.
Where's that game being played?
I think in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of interesting geopolitical angles to this World Baseball Classic.
I know. Are you going to watch Team USA later? That's just 5 o'clock.
5 p.m.
Right? 5 p.m. They're in Houston.
Yeah, I presume that's on television.
It is on FS1. Yeah.
Okay, then I can see myself in front of a television.
Okay.
Friday nights, I usually take it easy before a big broadcast on Saturday with SDFC. So I'll be home.
Okay.
See what happens.
Okay, I do want to ask you what's going on with SDFC. I know you were out there yesterday at their media availability at their practice. But before I do that, I do want to play this one clip from Freddie Fermin because Darren, as you know this, covering the Padres, covering SDFC. There's a lot of like last year when we spoke with Fermin, right? We always spoke with an interpreter, right? Oh gosh, give me a second. It's going to give, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, and so, last year he would always speak. We would ask the question. The interpreter would interpret the question and he would answer in Spanish and back. I had a quick exchange with Freddie Fermin in spring training. And I was impressed because he has really taken the time to try and learn the language, right? And communicate better, not just with his teammates, with all of us. Just here's an exchange we had about Luis Campusano. Expects to give Luis Campusano the number 2 job behind you. How important is it for you guys to go ahead and work together, and how can you be a mentor to a player like him as well?
We talked 2 days before about that. Campy, whatever you need, I'm here for you. We have the most. We have to win the most I can. Help us each other. That battery, Campy and me, try to do the best. We know this game more negative than positive, but we gotta be strong, And like I said, help each other, and I'm here for him.
Okay, so that was okay. By the way, I drew a blank. The Padres interpreter, the PR person, it's Jorge Murillos, and he was serving as the interpreter last year with a lot of the Latin players. I just want to say, kudos to you, kudos to Freddie Fermin for really making an effort. It's tough to do interviews in your own native language, but trying to do it in different language, it's got to be even more difficult. But good for him trying to do as much as he could in a different tongue. That's difficult.
As somebody who has aspired to learn a second language and to communicate for travel purposes, for work purposes.
Yep.
Whose goal, like it is, not just to nonchalantly throw it out, but truly like a professional goal of mine is to do an interview in Spanish.
Yeah.
I always appreciate it.
Yeah.
I always appreciate it because I know how hard it is. And I also know it's not just about, it's hard because you're learning a different language and you're learning all the subjugation and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is also difficult because the moment where you think you are prepared to speak in a different language, at least for me, I feel a level of anxiety.
Yes.
Because you don't want to be made fun of,
Yes.
whether it was radio or here or sometimes working with Adrian, right? Like I work with one of the most talented broadcasters that I've ever worked with Adrian Garcia Marquez. And he can switch back and forth from English to Spanish. And I, every once in a while, will try to participate and like I feel awkward because I know a lot, like I communicate, like I travel and go to a lot of Spanish speaking countries, but in the moment, like you don't want to,
you freeze.
Yeah, I do. I do. I get really, really like nervous about that. So like I always appreciate when people are making an effort and again, I find myself sometimes very, very nervous about doing it publicly. Because again, like you also don't want to sound like a fraud.
No, it's not. It's not that. But I'll tell you this, Darren. Every once in a while, but I think it's important to speak it to learn as many languages as you can, especially if you want to be in sports, especially if you want to be in sports in soccer or baseball. Every once in a while, I'll get like an email or a text or something, or connect with somebody on LinkedIn who might be an aspiring journalist or get in the field. And when they talk about advice, and listen, everything about the business has changed since I first got into it. Since I was like a comm major, PR major, everything at San Diego State. But one thing I would advise people, man, is learn a different language, be bilingual, learn Japanese, learn Spanish, try something else because look, just walk in the clubhouse, whether it's the Padres or SDFC, man, it's not all English language, it's everything else. So the more you can do, man, the further you're going to go. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, and again, that's why I listen to so much Bad Bunny and watch a lot of Mexican League soccer and Spanish soccer and Espanol, so I can learn. Just don't know. I mean, it does help, honestly. But again, I think you're spot on. that's a big part of it, and I would love to. And plus, I also think sometimes, one of the things that we've noticed is sometimes, not to say like, let's go to Fernando. I think Fernando's pretty comfortable when he's speaking English.
Oh, yes.
But, I also think that you can identify, even if you don't speak Spanish, I think you can also identify sometimes there is a different level. Like he looks a little more comfortable.
100%.
Yeah. And like,
just
I would
Fernando.
I'd like to feel like the person who's the awkward one, like I'd like to be the one who's like, not speaking native. Like I always think that would be like a cool
Darren, like let me just give you an example. Like in a Padres clubhouse, right? A lot of times, like when Tatis is like the star of the game, whatever else, he always does his scrum in English first, right? And then a lot of times he'll do it in Spanish because there's other reporters there. And he's a lot of times he's more animated and there's so much more detail coming out when he does the Spanish version. Same thing for Manny Machado too. So they're going to be more. Of course, you're more comfortable in your own tongue. Of course. But anyways, my point was good on Fermin, clearly making an effort, not just working on his biceps as Craig Stammen pointed out, right? But
does he have biceps?
Huge arms, just huge
really?
Arms. Yeah, he walks in the room, doesn't matter what he's wearing. You're like, okay, he works out. Very impressive.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know. I will be on the lookout for his biceps.
Make sure
somebody who's not
you
only working on his language skills, but also working on his physical appearance, Marty. That this man is an inspiration to me.
Yes. Yes, he is. I'm looking. That's like the first thing when he walked in the clubhouse. The first thing, look at that. That's the first thing I noticed was his arms. Anyways, all right. Okay. I'm digressing. All right, Darren, SDFC, what's going on this weekend?
What is going on at Kansas City? First away trip of the MLS season. We have our broadcast starts at 5:00 with the pregame show. Sporting KC.
Wait, doesn't Mahomes? I'm sorry, because doesn't Mahomes own a piece of that team?
He does. Sporting KC and also the NWSL team.
His wife
in
Brittany.
Kansas City as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know that they will or won't be in attendance on Saturday, but first away trip of the MLS season. Pre-game 5:00, kickoff 5:30 on AM 760 and the iHeartRadio app. We are not traveling for this. We do a lot of the away games from the studio, which takes a little bit, I think, from the broadcast, but we do get the raw feed, so we get the natural sound, all that sort of stuff. A lot of people don't know this, but here I am sharing secrets. What is it? I mean, it's just an interesting week because you're traveling and listen, SDFC really incredible on the road last year. 12 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. So 12-4-1. Record setting. Kansas City is not a good team, but Toluca, who they're playing on Wednesday from Liga MX, they are a good team. So do you get caught looking ahead? I suppose that possibility exists, Marty, that you could get caught between the energy and excitement of Snapdragon Stadium, how successful you've been there, 11 goals for, only 1 goal allowed, looking ahead to CONCACAF Champions Cup against Toluca, back-to-back defending champions in the structure that Liga MX has. So Toluca comes in here and like nobody, I'm looking forward to that game.
Okay.
I'm looking ahead to that game. Hopefully the players are not, hopefully the coaching staff is not. I am, not that we're not going to have a good broadcast. We're going to have a very good broadcast, but I think the biggest question probably is not so much health. I do know that their biggest acquisition from this offseason is a player named Lewis Morgan, who has yet to play in any of the 4 matches that they've played through CONCACAF Champions Cup and MLS. Mikey told us yesterday, Mikey Vadas, the head coach, did say that unless something changes, he will be on the bench and he will be available. So hopefully we get to see him debut against Sporting Kansas City. The goalkeeping situation is interesting to me. Darren Smith started the MLS opener because Pablo Cisniega was suspended. CJ Dos Santos is still coming back from injury from that terrible collision that he had in Portland last year with his broken face.
Oof.
Yeah, bad. I mean, really, really bad. Like traumatic for physical and mental reasons. So you started Darren Smith, who's this 19-year-old kid from San Diego Del Norte High School, who signed with San Diego Loyal as a 15-year-old.
Oh, wow.
And you've had back-to-back clean sheets, back-to-back shutouts. But Pablo started both games against Pumas in CONCACAF Champions Cup and had 8 saves the last time we saw him, but he was suspended for the first game. So Mikey's known to ride the hot hand, so to speak, whether it's at left wing or whether it's midfield or whether it's wherever. And I am truly, I don't know which way he's going to go for his starting goalkeeper, because if you want Pablo to play midweek then do you want to get him some reps against Kansas City? And by reps, like, you got to start him. But then if you put him out there, what if you give up a goal for the first time? Like, it's just this interesting, it's just this interesting decision, or do you want to let Duran go again and then tell Duran, like, well, now we're going to go back to Pablo, so like, these are interesting decisions to make. Because again, you can't sub these guys on and off. They're not wingers, they're not midfielders, they're not defenders where, hey, it's not going well, we'll make a change. You don't really do that with your goalkeeper, Marty. And I'm truly curious to see what they're going to roll out there in the goalkeeper position. So stay tuned, sports fans. I think I probably would go with Pablo, and that's not to imply that Duran Free's done anything wrong. He hasn't. But 2 clean sheets, I think, probably has to do with the goalkeeper, but has to do with everybody else as well. Starts with the forwards, goes through the midfield and the defenders. I mean, biggest save over the first couple of games has been by a defender, Kieran Sargent, who cleared a ball off the line against St. Louis. So I don't know. It's like an interesting decision that Mikey has to make here. So I think that's the most interesting one. I think they should be okay against Sporting Kansas City. You never know. Third meeting all time. Sporting KC has yet to score against San Diego Football Club. So I'd like to see that continue. But it is the first away game, and they're a team that's kind of in transition. They're rebuilding. They're not great. So, and they have players coming in later in the summer. So there's not a lot going on there with Sporting KC, but they do have a couple of interesting players. On paper, though, this is it looks like SDFC should be able to just walk Sporting Kansas City this weekend.
I love games on paper. Listen, kudos to you, Darren. That was a Bill Walton-esque answer when I said, what's going on with SDFC? By the way, a couple weeks ago, I think you had, was it Joe Lowry, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, from backhill.com.
Yeah, that was really very enjoyable. Great interview. And you guys both talked about Chucky Lozano. Is there an update? Is he still just standing in a empty field, walking around during practices? What's going on?
Pretty much. I mean, that's my understanding, that he kind of comes in afterwards, that everybody that's part of the squad comes in. They get in early, they do their work, they practice. And then later in the day when most people have moved on, Chucky shows up and practices and trains on his own. I don't know. I mean, you have a timeline here. It's March 6th. I think we have another couple of weeks. The transfer window closes on March 22nd, March 23rd, something like that.
Okay.
You don't hear anything about this. You just don't hear anything about this. And, again, I think players have moved on and coaches have moved on. Obviously, the general manager, sporting director, Tyler Heaps, still has to try something. But it doesn't sound like there's a lot of conversation happening on the other side of this. And you need him to engage if he wants to go someplace else. I get he doesn't want to go, but if he's going to go somewhere else, he's got to engage. And to my knowledge, or at least last time I asked, he hasn't.
Okay.
And I think it's sad. I mean, I think it's a sad situation. I really do. It just isn't working. Like, it didn't work. And, again, like, I think that a lot of people probably feel and would say, well, why isn't it? Why didn't it? And, the team really, hasn't talked all that much about it not be, just saying generically, like, it hasn't been a fit.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, is this guy willing to just put his career in neutral and, like, not go for a World Cup spot? Like, I don't know. It just feels very sad to me that this situation can't be resolved. Like, he should be playing. He's not going to be here, but he should be playing. And I would like to see him fight for a World Cup spot. And I think a lot of people who are fans of the Mexican national team or fans of Chucky Lozano would feel the same way, but it doesn't feel like that's his top priority. And that to me is a shame.
Darren, good stuff from you. As always, you can make sure you can follow his work at D Smith Show. If you can, tell people who love the podcast how they can find this show that we are watching right now, how to find it on Apple, Spotify. Go.
All right. Well, I did set up a feed via Substack, so
Great.
I wouldn't promote like Substack as a destination yet.
Yes.
But you do want to have a launching pad for some audio stuff. So we've converted a couple of these. I talked to Joe Lowry, as Marty said. Marty was very kind to lend me Marty Time Television for a conversation there. Also, Eric Gomez from ESPN, who I think we're going to talk to next week so that we can promote Toluca. I'll be visiting Eric in Mexico City in a couple of weeks.
Wait. Oh, you will? Okay,
Yeah.
then I need to, tell Eric that I need a spot as well because when the Padres play.
By
I
the
think in
way,
April.
like
let's
SDFC
go.
played Pumas, which is a team that's located in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
Toluca's 45 minutes outside of Mexico City, so I'll be flying down through Mexico City.
Okay.
The Padres are going down there, and then they just announced another tournament, Marty, that MLS participates in called Leagues Cup, and the first game for SDFC is going to be against Club America in, guess where? Mexico City.
Of course.
So, yeah. Like
to tell Eric Gomez to make sure Eric Gomez knows to have his guest accommodations ready and to keep it open and available for all of us. Okay. Because we're going to be there a lot. Okay, good.
Yeah. So where was I? So what was I saying? Oh, so anyhow, yes. So we'll post this on social media.
Awesome.
It'll be available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, although I'm told Spotify is like really not a very good destination anymore. People are down on it. What we have to do is make it available via YouTube podcast. So I think
I'll
you
do
have
that.
to figure that out.
I can do that.
We'll, if somebody else has a request and they need a different platform, let us know. Hit us up. You know how to get in contact with us.
Okay. By the way, how does my mic sound today? Because I am not using my normal Yeti mic. I am using the same microphone I plug in to my cell phone to harass people in post game.
Good. I think the audio sounds good.
Really?
I mean, the Wi-Fi could.
What?
Maybe
I'm plugged into Ethernet. The Wi-Fi is bad.
It's not bad.
Okay, well,
I mean, it's been a little.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you, not me.
Could be. I don't know. We'll let the viewers be the ultimate judge.
All right, Darren. Last two things. I know you have to get ready for daylight savings. I think it's this weekend, right? It's this Saturday. We spring forward. I never changed the time in my Tacoma, so I'm back, baby. I'm back on the correct time as of Saturday or Sunday, whenever that is. And then number two, have you yet texted your friend Kevin AC to tell him how many times Shohei Ohtani batted with no one on base last season?
No, but I mean, I don't know. I guess I should thank him because he inspires me to look all this sort of stuff up because you read that.
You're like, where are you going?
You're
with
like,
this?
oh wow, 399 at bats with nobody on base. That sounds like a lot. You're like, man, like maybe everybody has a point about this until you just go, yeah, like Ohtani had 410. Like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What is your point? Oh man, 789, terrible. Those guys were awful. And then you're like, oh, well, the Dodgers weren't great either. Like, so like, what point are we making here?
Yeah.
Just say the guy doesn't want to do it. Like I think that would be a lot easier for us to handle. Anyway, I know it's a very unfortunate weekend for you, Marty, because you like it when it gets dark at 4:15.
I love it. It's like the seasons are changing. I do love it. By the way, I did notice that when Tatis, when they left for the DR, right? Him, Manny, Julio Rodriguez, he was wearing the SDFC hat in the plane. Any doubt to you that he is passing out gear to all his teammates?
I hope so. Yeah, I know that my colleagues and employers at SDFC noticed that as well.
Good.
That they liked that interview that he did with Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh,
that he was wearing the SDFC hat.
Yes,
he was wearing the flow hat. So yeah,
Yes,
that was solid. That's good. Manny always reps, man. Manny always represents SDFC.
He's one he does. I wish I could take pictures. We're not allowed to take pictures inside the clubhouse, but he's worn these crazy SDFC sweaters. You can take video. You can't take still pictures inside the clubhouse, right? Or I would, because he's worn, and his wife too, like Yane is wearing SDFC gear always when she's like waiting for him outside. But anyways, all right.
Big plans this weekend, Marty? What do you got?
Big plans this weekend. I'm not sure. It's from Neil Cat. Totally, Marty. Yeah, I know
in the Tacoma. I mean, seriously, like what is that? Like a wind-up clock with actual hands?
Yes, it has by the way, it has a CD player in it still. So
of course it does. Nice. It's amazing that thing is still kicking.
Yeah, you can get the show 204,000 miles, and I just replaced one of the failing catalytic converter. It outlasted my mom's Prius. But anyways, all right. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for watching Marty Time TV. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. So Darren and I will be back next week on this channel. And don't forget, we would love your support for Friar Territory as well on the Foul Territory Network. We have plenty of shows coming to you guys next week. So there's lots of ways to go ahead and watch Darren Smith and Marty Caswell, and we appreciate your support. So that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Have a great weekend. Next week, the debate continues from the Padres leadoff hitter. And when will they finally have a new owner? Let's go already.
Yeah, I mean, that's supposed to be happening pretty soon here, right?
I hope so. Let's go. It's been awfully quiet.
Well, maybe that's usually an indication that things are happening.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah, when everybody's just like yelling about Viore and Drew Brees, you're like, yeah, this doesn't feel like it's getting closer. But when things are happening and nobody's talking about it, sounds like you got some serious business, right? Non-disclosure agreements, all that sort of stuff. Those things are happening.
Been really quiet. By the way, who do you think Brees, Viore, we're going to partner with of the known candidates, or are they partnering with the unknown candidate?
I mean, I'm guessing. You're just asking me for a total, like,
yes, total guess.
Dartboard back there,
total
like
guess.
fire a dart at the dartboard.
Yep.
Joe Lacob.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's a guess. I mean, I literally never gave it even a second thought until you just asked that question.
Okay.
I don't know. I should have asked Drew Brees. He was at the SDFC game last week.
Darren.
I was on the air. What do you want me to do? I looked up at the big screen. I was like, oh, there's Drew Brees.
You run over. Send somebody over.
Sorry, Adrian, you got it.
And you get the yes, and then you take your cell phone and then you give me the content and we talk about it here in Marty Time.
You should have been at this game, Marty. I mean, the amount of football players that were around there. Eric Allen was around there. Andre Reed was around there.
Hall of Famers, baby.
Yeah, the two dudes from the Seattle Seahawks.
The kicker
and the kick returner. Those guys were both there. Again, I'm not fully into the NFL these days. Eric Winalda was there. Shannon Macmillan was there.
I saw that promo video they did. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Was there, huh? Good.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there. There were a lot of. I mean, they were celebrating San Diego sports.
Yep, I saw that. I'll have to go next.
It was very cool. It was very well done.
I'll bring this mic and my camera. Let's go.
Missed opportunity. Just what people want when they're trying to enjoy a celebratory night is Marty running at him with a camera and a microphone.
What do
you think about that?
That's
Drew, who are you going to partner with, Drew?
That's right.
Who do you think they're going to partner with? Do you know?
Joseph Tsai.
Joe Tsai. Is he a good owner?
I have no clue. Is he?
Do you follow the Nets?
No. All right. Listen, it's Friday. Go enjoy the weekend. Yes?
I don't get to enjoy my weekend. Tomorrow's work. I work tomorrow. I mean, I enjoy that, but. And then Sunday night, anybody going to Tijuana tomorrow or Sunday for Cholos and Santos? No. Think I am.
Gotta go.
Can't get enough.
I know.
And WBC all weekend long.
Yes, can't wait.
I'm not going to talk about the leadoff stuff anymore. I'm just
not.
No, because you post these clips on social media and like everybody starts attacking me. Like, don't you want to see this guy hit with runners on base? I'm like, you are missing the point.
Okay, Darren, you want to be attacked? Why don't you go take some more shots at Merrill Kelly? Go ahead. I saw what you did.
I know.
Ended up on.
I know. How about that getting picked up by some aggregator at Sports Illustrated? Did you see that story?
I did see that.
San Diego radio host attacks Merrill Kelly.
I know. All right.
Whatever. I mean, give me a break. Don't go. If you want to stay in the desert, stay in the desert. But don't go whining about taxes. It's an insult to people that live here. Nobody wants to pay them. I don't want to pay them. You don't want to pay them. But, when you're complaining, like, I don't know about those taxes, when they're offering you $50+ million to be a pitcher for the San Diego Padres, and people bust their asses to live here.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen to that nonsense from you. Just say you want to stay in the desert.
It's 76 degrees. I'm going to the beach. I got to go. Suck it, Merrill Kelly.
Thanks. You got me all riled up now. I'm like, now what am I going to do?
Darren Smith, Marty Caswell, brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you next
By the
week.
way, I mean, the other thing is that this California State Senate candidate picks this up and he starts running and railing against taxes in California that free agents won't come to the state of California. It's like,
really? Otani's here. Deferred contract, but Otani's here.
Nobody likes paying him, but nobody wants to hear this guy whine about California taxes when they're giving you $50+ million to pitch.
Highest payroll in baseball comes courtesy of a California team.
Anyway, I'm done now.
Goodbye. Manny, you made the case several times yesterday for AJ Preller to be extended. What was your reaction to the news that he has been?
He got extended? As you can tell, I'm looking for my phone. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's signed. Damn, so I should have spoken 3 months ago or something. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Like I said, just about time, and really happy. He's our guy, and somebody's deserve it is totally him.